Hey, it's the Boardroom Coach here with your weekday briefing, looking beyond the headlines to what they reveal about leadership, decision making, and organisational behaviour under pressure. Today's piece is not what it might seem. I was even surprised where this one took me. So let's settle in whilst I take you through the restructuring of Adani, an Indian multinational founded in 1988. It started life as a commodity trading business, and the group's businesses now include sea and airport management, electricity generation and transmission, mining, natural gas, food, weapons, and infrastructure. Have I missed anything? Let me read that again. Sea, air, utility, mining, defence, and infrastructure. This is a big hitter. So let's take a look at what's going on. The Adani restructuring gives us a useful starting point, but the real issue I'm going to highlight today is for UK boards. And it's about whether businesses have the skills to deliver the strategies they are approving. So what's happened is that the Adani Group is simplifying its operating model. Fewer layers, fewer decision makers, fewer contractors, faster execution. That's the visible story. But I think the more useful read is that capital-intense organisations are beginning to recognise something uncomfortable. Strategy can move faster than delivery capacity. I'll let that one sink in. And I'll say it again. Strategy can move faster than delivery capacity. You can improve the investment, announce the growth plan, and align the board behind the ambition. But the organisation still has to execute through people, skills, suppliers, and judgment on the ground. For UK businesses, that lands in a very practical place. They still have to compete, but under very different and influencing constraints. Let's take a look at what that means. Employer national insurance has gone up. Labour is more expensive. Boards are under pressure to protect margin and control cost. And at the same time, many of the skills that actually carry delivery are aging and becoming scarce. Fabrication, plumbing, electrical, welding, commissioning, maintenance, supervision, all trades that are exceedingly difficult and increasingly hard to attract young workers into these professions. Now, these are not abstract workforce categories. In many businesses, they are the difference between a project moving and a project stalling or going to a competitor. For UK PLC, that can even mean going outside of the country. What most people see is a skills shortage, and that's true, but it doesn't look far enough. The leadership issue is that many organisations haven't treated these skills as succession risks, but they are. We might know who will replace the finance director, or who is being developed for senior leadership. But we may not know who replaces the person who understands the plant, the site, the asset, the installation sequence, or the client's real operating constraints. That kind of knowledge rarely sits neatly in an organisation chart. It's often held by people who have been around for years, who know where the problems usually appear, who train younger colleagues informally, and who prevent mistakes before anyone else has noticed the risk or has even made its way onto a register. When those people leave, the business doesn't just lose labour. It loses memory and irreplaceable skills. The extra layer here is that boards need to stop seeing succession planning as a purely senior leadership process. I'm going to say that one again. Boards need to stop seeing succession planning as purely senior leadership process. In delivery-led businesses, succession has to include the critical skills base. That doesn't mean protecting every role, of course it doesn't, but it does mean knowing which technical, craft and operational skills are directly linked to revenue, quality, safety and consumer confidence. This is where the cost conversation becomes more demanding. Higher employment costs are real. We can't ignore those, but cutting recruitment and training without understanding delivery dependency can create a bigger cost later. Delivery delay has a cost. Rework has a cost. Subcontractor dependency has a cost. Lost practical knowledge has a cost. The question I want to leave with any board today is this. Are you managing labour as a cost to be reduced? Or are you stewarding the skills your strategy depends on? Put another way, the stronger Western market angle is not that Adani itself matters to the UK. It's that the example Adani shows us reveals a wider leadership pattern. When growth depends on execution, the operating model and the skills base become strategic assets. For UK boards facing higher employment costs, the ageing technical workforces need to treat workforce succession as part of that delivery risk, not as an HR side issue. You've been listening to The Daily Lens with the Boardroom Coach. If this episode gave you something to think about, subscribe and follow for more weekday audio briefings and weekly roundups. Until the next time, keep looking beyond what's being said to what it means and what it leads to.